Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and today's video I will talk about how you can get a suitable job for yourself, whether you are a fresh graduate or you have some experience or you have a lot of experience, doesn't matter. In today's video I will talk about like how can you get a suitable or a relevant job for yourself. So the first step while you are preparing yourself for interview is to like research a little bit about the company. And one more thing is you should study the job description in the advertisement, right? So in the description of the job advertisement, everything is mentioned they are looking for. What the recruiters are looking for, they have mentioned everything in the job description, right? So before attending any interview, you should always do a research about the company, like what are the company's current projects, what are their previous mega projects. And the second thing is you should like at least watch the job description, what they are looking for. You should prepare yourself according to the job description. You should study all those things or revise your memory if you have some knowledge, and then you should attend an interview, right? So this is the first step. Search about the company and see the job description. Actually two things, right? The next thing is if it's an online interview, so you should at least come on Teams or whatever the platform is. Like you should reach there at least 15 minutes before interview starts, right? And if it's a physical interview, like you have to go for interview to the interview is in an office or some company or any location, like if it is physical interview, right? So you should always go at least 15 minutes before, right? The important thing is what the interviewers commonly ask in interviews, right? So I have attended more than 20 interviews so far. Not more than 20, exactly 20 interviews I have attempted so far. And in majority of the interviews, they ask like 3 4 questions, similar questions, right? The common questions are like introduce yourself. It's a question asked everywhere in the world, right? This most probably is will be the first question in your interview, right? Introduce yourself. It depends like how you introduce yourself, right? So you should not tell the interviewer my name is this and I am from this country or this and that, right? No, he has your CV, he has every detail of you, so you should not repeat those things again, right? You can however, if you want to mention something about yourself which is also mentioned in the your CV or resume, one thing you can repeat again is your qualification, right? So I like you can start I have done this, right? I would suggest it's better to sit in front of computer and like train your chat GPT. How should I introduce myself? And you should memorize the complete paragraph of the introduction, right? You should memorize it. And wherever you apply for interview, they will ask exactly the same question, introduce yourself, and you should introduce like you should memorize the paragraph. And once your first question is answered like confidently, so I believe the whole interview will in the whole interview you will be confident, right? So you should introduce yourself like technically, right? So your qualification, what are your experiences, right? So if you didn't mention in the introduction and your experience, so the next question will be about the experience. So it's better to mention your experience in the introduction section, right? It's my suggestion. I do like this, right? So you mentioned your experience, right? And what projects you have worked on, right? And your familiarity with the standards. Always talk about standards. And you should talk about the projects you have worked in. You should talk about the engineering things, right? Still, if you want to mention something which is also mentioned in your CV and you want to repeat it, this is your qualification. Second thing is research about the company, right? Research about the company and study the job description, right? They will advertise the job and you should look for the job description, right? And prepare yourself according to the job description. The third thing is like the time when I didn't come to Saudi Arabia, I was thinking about like they will ask general questions about yourself. How do you handle pressure, this and that. They will check your English communication, each and everything. But in Saudi Arabia, remember, they are looking for the knowledge, how much knowledge you have, how much experience you have, right? So if you can answer their questions technically, they will prefer you. Although if you can't speak English very well, and there is one other person in comparison to you, he can speak English well, his body language is good, his personality is good, but he have no technical knowledge, or he have knowledge but is less than yours, right? Or he can't talk technically, right? So he will not be preferred, you will be preferred, right? Although you can't speak English, you can't speak Arabic, and you are a simple person, you don't have that kind of personality, each and everything, but at least you have knowledge, you have experience. Now the experience may be fake or may be real, but you are well prepared for the interview, right? And you have some study. How can you prepare yourself for interview? Is through study, right? Now one thing more, in majority of the jobs descriptions or the advertisement, they have a requirement of at least 5 years, right? But majority of the people don't have that 5 years experience, right? So what you can do, you can mention in your CV, I would suggest, but you should prepare yourself accordingly, right? So you should prepare yourself for interview by doing study, right? And by studying standards, right? If you are talking about standards, at least you should know 7 to 10 standards, right? If you have mentioned that you have worked in Aramco, right? So you should know about the Aramco standards. If not all, at least 7 or 10 standards. My suggestion is stick to one standard. For example, there is a standard excavation and backfilling, right? SAES 114. So you should memorize this standard, right? Completely. You should have a complete knowledge of this standard. And whenever he talks about like your experience, you should focus, you should mention that you have like main experience in excavation and backfilling, right? So obviously he will ask questions about excavation and backfilling, and the first question they will ask, what is the standard used for excavation and backfilling, right? Or sometimes they ask what is the shape you were using in your Aramco project. So answer is same, says A114, right? So stick to one standard, memorize it, right? And the chance is that the recruiter will ask in the specific standard, right? So the last thing is, when it comes to the salary demand, like they will ask how much was your salary in your last project or in your last job, right? So you should, if you have less experience, so you should not ask for a big salary, right? So I think for a civil engineer, 7,000 or 7,500 is enough, right? If you have less experience, if you have more experience, you can ask for more salary. But if you got an opportunity and you reach to a level where he will ask about the salary, so it means you are selected or at least shortlisted for the job. So if you ask for, like, your demand is like more than 10,000, and there are other shortlisted persons, they have their salary demand 7,000 to 7,500, although you are more prepared for the interview, but he will prefer the one with the less salary demand, right? This is a common problem in Saudi Arabia, right? So this is it for this video. And if you want to prepare yourself for, like, I am QC engineer, so I have some study material for QC engineer. So if you want to prepare yourself for interviews, you can write your email in the comment section, and I hope I will send all the study. I will send a link through to the Google Drive, where you can find a folder and you can prepare yourself by studying those notes. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.